Ooh, okay. It says it's recording, but the intro is not.
Hello, hello. Welcome to episode what?
23.
2, 3. Yes. And that's
23.
episode 23, the Spicy Season Sisters podcast. Welcome. My name is Renette, aka the Next Level Chick.
I'm Latoya, also known as your CEO partner.
I'm simply Tammy, your spicy coach.
I am Coach Gail Benson, your favorite certified cognitive behavior coach.
All right. So y'all see the spices, and we are so excited to be here tonight.
Yes.
Tonight, we are speaking on a series which we started last week, which is called Get Your Ish Together. Last week, we had a serious conversation about intentions and how important they are as you move forward to get to your spicy place, as you move forward to do the things that need to be done. So, with that being said, tonight we're going to be talking about the second part, which is the spirit. So, this episode is titled Protect Your Peace and Power, the Truth About Spiritual Alignment. In a world that's constantly pulling at our energy, spiritual alignment isn't a luxury, it is truly a necessity. When your spirit is out of sync, everything else feels off, no matter how great your goals are or habits look on the surface. In this episode, we're talking about the kind of alignment that doesn't come from hustle or routine, but from connection to yourself, to your creator, and to your own truth. It is very important that we explore what spiritual alignment really means, how to recognize when you're out of alignment, and why
Mm-hmm.
protecting your peace is one of the most important and powerful things that you can ever do. This conversation is for the woman who's been doing all the things but still feels disconnected. And we all know how that feels, the four of
Yes.
us.
Yes.
Empty, exhausted, feel like you can't take another step. We know how that feels. And it's time to come back home to yourself. It's time to get your spirit aligned. It's time to get fueled to fuel your purpose. Let's talk about how to nurture your spirit, fuel your purpose, sustain your growth, and shield your energy and stay in peace. Tonight, we are on part 2 of Get Your Ish Together.
Yes.
So that's heavy and that's deep.
It
Yeah.
is.
The spirit is real important. Because a lot of people you can see them and you haven't even spoken to them, but just them the way they move, the way they look, the way they act, the way they talk, you already see the spirit is not right, right? And so we're going to dive into this tonight. So let's start off with how do you define spiritual alignment for yourself? Who wants to take that question?
Well, basically, you know who you are and what you want and desire, but you're talking about spiritually, and you kind of in your intro spoke about it. It depends on a person's source. Um, some people say the universe, some people say God, and some people say my source, whatever that means. But in reality, though, it all has to do with spirituality and finding the calm within yourself and within your mind. Okay. And so when you know how to do that, and then you know who you are, you know what matters, and it helps you to learn how to um, handle situations in a more calmly manner, a less chaotic and toxic manner. But it takes practice for a person to do that, and people's actions do tell you. It's a certain energy that they radiate, and it radiates off them that tells you exactly where they are and where they stand.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. Spirit is so important because it totally connects beyond the physical world that we live in. It's something that's bigger than you and really understanding and encompassing your beliefs, your values, your sense
Right,
of belonging to a bigger space and a better space than just what we see in the world. And a lot of times people are living by sight. And so when they're living and moving and believing by sight, a lot of times that throws the spirit off. And so we have to be really, really aware of our spirit. So I love how you define spiritual alignment for yourself, Tammy. That was wonderful, wonderful. Anybody else want to say something on that? Anybody?
I'll jump. I'll jump in, Renette. Tammy, I think that was a amazing answer, and it segued into what I was thinking, at least for myself. You know, Tim, when you mentioned showing up, for yourself spiritually, we have to make sure that we maintain realistic ideas of what our spiritual awareness is. And it's going to be different by the person and their energy. For me, my spiritual awareness is not what people think it is that, oh, I pray and I talk to God. My spiritual awareness, my spiritual cognitivity is that I make sure that how I start my day is how I'm going to show up the rest of the day. So
right,
how I show up,
right,
how I start is how I'm going to show up. So I
right.
make sure that I am I dedicate time to aligning my energy with how I want to show up through the rest of my day. And I have to check my energy because sometimes, even though we're waking up first thing in the morning, sometimes we wake up a little jilted. Either we didn't rest well, or things from the previous day still was running amok in our brains at night. Because although we lay down, we're not often sleeping or resting. We sleep, but we don't rest. So when we wake up and we still feel that agitation or some energy that's residual from a couple of days ago or what have you, I make sure that when I wake up in the morning, I spend that time with myself so that I can show up for myself the way I want to go the rest of my day. And I give myself the opportunity to acknowledge whatever I'm feeling as soon as I get up in the morning and talk my energy up. I gotta wake that energy up, say those affirmations, it's gonna be a great day. I have everything I need. God brought me to this day. He will bring me through the day. And no matter what I face, that I have everything I need to conquer it. And I always am mindful not to complain. I have to talk to my spirit. I have to, because that is going to carry me. How I start the day is how I'm going to show up for the rest of the day.
Absolutely. That
Yeah,
is beautiful.
I was going to say I love that, and it made me think about what we talked about last week, the intention. And I love, Gail, how you said showing up. How you show up is how you're going to show up for the rest of the day. And for me, when I'm having my quiet time, I'm making a conscious decision on how I'm going to show up, right? Regardless of how the day goes. So when you said that, I could totally relate to that. And I'm usually setting an intention for the day, regardless of how the day goes. What do I want that outcome to be? But it has to start in the morning, and I have to ponder on that for the rest of the day, because it's my choice. Am I going to have a good day despite of? I'm going to have a bad day despite of. I choose to have a good day despite of anything else. So setting that intention for the day on how I'm going to show up. So I like that. Thank you, Gail, for sharing that.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. And as Latoya just talked about intentions and spirits, those are totally aligned. And a lot of times we don't think about that, because when you wake up, like she said, I'm getting ready to speak over my day. That's intention. That's intentional to get up. And so when we first wake up, as we want to bring that spirit alive, the right spirit to have the entire day, we must first speak to ourselves when we wake up. Like, speak to ourselves, and hey, I'm powerful. I'm this. I'm that. I'm whatever you think you are. And then as you start to think and start to say those third things, you're then able to really start thinking, you know what? You didn't do it by yourself. So now you're looking at that higher power, connecting to that higher power, experiencing that sense of connection with not the TV, because people wake up and looking at constantly negative news. They wake up and they scrolling and doing all kinds of stuff. They wake up scrambling. And so when you do that, your day has already spoken to you. You're not moving properly how you should be moving, because you haven't allowed your spirit to be aligned with what it is you're supposed to be doing, or where it is you're supposed to be going. So the first thing you do is listening to the news to hear about what war, what Trump did, what that's how that's negative. That's rough. But that's what you're feeding into your spirit. And so when you understand how important spirits are, you have a heightened sense of spirituality, spiritual matters, spiritual direction, so that you can move in the proper way. And when you do things out of order, then you are out of alignment and not in alignment for the assignment that you're supposed to be doing. So it's very, very important that we are in alignment for our spiritual assignment that we are supposed to do. And when we get up and start with the wrong things, it throws our entire day off. So be able to get up and speak over yourself, speak life, speak a gratefulness, speak, I'm thankful to God. Even though, I usually get up and I'm about to say, thank you, God, seek ye first the kingdom. That whatever it is you have to say to yourself, God, this is going to be a great day. All things are working together for my good. Those are bringing those spiritual things for you. And as you open your mouth to say that, it will start to happen. And then you tell the world what you want. And that is how we get our spirit aligned. And I love everything y'all said. So with that being said, and I guess I just kind of said some things. What drains your spirit?
Negative energy.
Negative energy.
Negative energy absolutely drains my spirit.
Right.
But I have to go back to, I know how to tap back into getting that energy back. But I've been around the block enough to know what drains me and what fuels me. So I try to stay away from the negative energy when I can, but sometimes it's not possible. That's just the space that you're in. But I have to know you have to know how to get yourself back to that safe place, or that comfortable place. But negative energy absolutely drains me.
And that's how people wake up when they looking at the news. That's negative energy.
Very much so.
Negative energy. Some stuff that you scrolling and looking at on Facebook. That's negative energy. As soon as you go to the job, you're on the way. Oh, Lord, I don't feel like doing this. Negative energy. Yeah. You could be the one saying, I don't like negativity, but be the main one bringing it.
Yeah, but when people have inner conflict and confusion within themselves and in their mind, doesn't matter, wake up, go to bed, however, and they go about their day, just doing and treating, and they don't think about, they're just spiritually numb, or they don't understand that a different attitude, a different perspective, and presenting a different energy would do them so much more justice in this life. See, for me though, I was raised where we had to sit and we had to learn meditation. We had to learn certain things, okay? My grandfather, my father did not play. Reverend Page and Ernest Page, they wanted us to know how to deal with this world without losing our minds. And so I've grown up that way. So it's easy for me. And I will back and turn my back on you and walk the other way because I will not deal with the negative energy. Okay.
Amen.
And when I'm at work or wherever I am, if you all have something going on, you're going to be left right there having it going on because I'm going in my office, close the door because I don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I like calm. I don't like toxicity. I like people around me who have a sense of self.
Yes.
Don't bring it to me because I'm not going to do you well. Okay.
Absolutely. I'm
Or
so
at all.
at all. But sometimes, a lot of times, the issue with that is, and it's an issue because it's the family, it's the circle, and they're bringing a lot of stuff to drain you. I was talking to somebody today, and they were talking about all they had going on and what they got to do and what they got to buy and this and that. And they said, well, I already know I'm going to be late with my rent because I got to do this and I got to do. That's negative. I said, wait. You need to ask God to forgive you. I said, because you being negative and you are draining yourself because you already calling that on yourself. But you saying I went to church yesterday and I tithed and I'm looking for God to do something. No, you're not, because you already said you're gonna be late on your rent. Instead of God gonna give you what you need so that you could have everything you need with plenty left over. People don't realize these are things that you're filling your spirit with, and it just becomes ingrained in you. And I'm not even realizing that said that. You saying all this negative stuff, but you are praying and you are worrying and believing that something great is going to happen. You're going to get what you worry about. You're not.
If you're spiritually connected to your higher power, to God, then you are aligned.
Right.
Then you understand what it takes and the cause. Then you act differently and you speak differently. Yeah. And I'm good at calling my friends out. They say something, hey, look, we need to talk because you said something that you shouldn't have said, and I'll be the first to do it. I didn't like what you said. I don't think that you. And some people don't see themselves. What? What you say? Yeah. What you say?
I said, and you do.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and then I spend my day, I get up, I pray, I listen to my spiritual stuff at work, to work, and all the way back home. I'm not listening to Trump and everything else going on in the world because I'm going to stay connected to God because he's my father and he's the one that's leading and guiding me. So that way I stay equally in line with what he wants for me, and it's easier for me to make decisions based on that fact. Some people aren't there and they're not aligned with what God, they just think they know. They don't. And then they wonder why in their lives is so much havoc, why so much chaos, why nothing is growing, why nothing is happening in their lives. They're not in alignment with their higher power, with God.
Absolutely. And that becomes a problem. And so now they, instead of having that interconnectedness, they have that loneliness, that distance, those things that are draining them. And that when you are silent, when you are worried, you are opening so many doors for the devil. And so that's why spirituality is so important. Spirituality, part of that is talking back. We just let stuff run rampant. We don't talk back. And then part of that is being quiet and listening.
Yay.
Because when you sit with God,
yes,
your higher power is God, being mine, I need to listen and hear what he wants me to do in at least about 15 minutes. Sometimes I go and I get up in the morning, I boldly go to the throne. I don't go begging, God, please give me that. The Lord is God. The Lord is my shepherd. God, you are my shepherd. And because of you, I'm not going to want. Thank you for letting me lie down in those green pastures, beside the still waters. Woo! Thank you, God, because you have restored my soul. I make that mine.
Yes.
That's spirituality for me. Whatever I'm reading, I am putting my name to it. I'm personalizing. That's part of my spirituality. I have to personalize it. And when we do that and we talk back and we make noise, those are the things that make the difference. And so those are the things that charge me, that give me the oomph in the morning. Because I already done told God, this is what I need, God. I need you to be by my side. Put your ministering angels in front of me, God. Open those doors, God. Show me the ones I'm supposed to be walking through. Show me who I'm not supposed to be around. All of that is your spirit and your spirituality. And when we get up in the morning and do everything but try to have some spirituality, like Tammy said, going to the job, coming from the job, in the car, listening to those things we need to be listening to. And that's really, really important. And sometimes people don't get that. So really, really important. I love that. So those are things that charge us up. But there are also things that drain us. And a lot of times we don't even realize it. We don't really realize it. And one of the big energy drainers that I hate to say, you might not realize it. It may be your best friend. It may be the people in your house. They all negative. And because we want to help them, sometimes helping people drains us. Sometimes helping people, it kills our spirit. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I had a family member that was very draining. I enjoyed, their company, but it was one of those things where I had to mentally prepare to be around them. I don't do well with last minute invites from this person because I haven't prepared myself to be around them. And I honestly don't even think that they knew that they were so draining. So, I would just have to pray, okay, Lord, give me strength. I don't want to decline another invite, because they're trying to spend time. And, I want to be able to spend time, create memories, experiences, all of that fun stuff. But it was literally draining. I had to have like a whole day to recoup just from being in their presence. That's how draining they were, But again, I love the person. And we had a good time, but just some of the shenanigans was just so draining. And whenever they would ask for a last minute invite, I would decline. I may not be doing anything, but I could not prepare myself to be in that space, that energy of, no.
Did you think about, well, I need to let them know? Or did you feel that was too draining to even let them know?
So it's been years. So in the beginning, I didn't let them know. Now they're in a different place as well. So they're now in a similar place as me. So I have let them know since then about how the experience was being in their presence back then. I can be in their presence now. I still don't like the last minute invites with this person, but at the end of the day, I have shared that with them. And what I learned is that I wasn't the only one. They did share with me that others have shared similar experiences with them. So that experience for us sharing that made them look at themselves and see how they're showing up with others. So sometimes we need that. We need people to share their experience, because I always tell people other people's experience is different than your experience of yourself. Because I may think I'm all that in a bag of chips and, you missing out if you don't hang out with me. But other people may think differently. So sometimes that feedback is good because it helps us look at ourselves in a different light.
Definitely. And if you holding yourself back, you are not helping yourself and you're not helping them. If they don't take the feedback well, I mean, that has nothing to do with you. Right. You have given them the honest truth, because a lot of people struggle with this and they continue to do stuff and go places where they don't want to be, do things that they don't want to do because they don't want to tell somebody. They toe step, they tiptoe, not toe step, but tiptoe around the situation and you're enabling, you know, and you wondering how they're gonna feel. But I'd rather tell
People pleasing. I was people pleasing, so I wanted to please them, so I didn't share. I was like, okay, So that goes back to the whole people pleasing, But like I said, I'm recovering, so I have since shared that information. So, but I think it's healing also, not only for me or us in our relationship, but just for that person to heal, in their own right, whatever areas in their life that they need to heal based on receiving that feedback. Because again, everybody's not, receptive to feedback. So.
But people pleasing is one of those things that will drain your spirit. So that's a good one. Anything else anybody want to add to that?
And I think it's, the fact that, I'm sorry, Tam.
No, go ahead.
I think I think it's great that after getting feedback from multiple people, that the individual was willing to, in retrospect, look at themselves and not take initially, I don't know what the response is, but after you keep hearing this thing, we start having to look at ourselves. And the fact that you all were able to have that conversation finally at some point. And a lot of times, we really self-sacrifice, and we take and we do and we try to prepare ourselves to go through this monotony of negativity, and we know they're going to drain the hell out of us. And what I have learned over the years is that my yes and no have to support my peace. So when I say no to the negativity, to the people that are draining, that don't have anything good to ever say, that is a yes to my peace. And I had to learn that, because I said, I don't owe you any explanation, and reevaluating that. How do I give them information that they're able to process, so they can start making the changes like the person did in your scenario, Toya? A lot of times, I would say that I don't owe you no explanation. This is a choice that I made for myself. And then I realized, girl, that's not really fair, because one or two things. If I expect to be in these people's presence, I need to share the information to give them the opportunity to change, or I'm just not going to be in that space, with you. And it is a part of us as human beings that we have this tugging, because there is a relational, scenario, a friend or somebody you're very familiar with, but we have to stop self-sacrificing and allowing ourselves to just be mulled over by these clouds of negativity. Because it even happened to me with somebody living in my house who was so negative, and that energy started penetrating over to me, and I had to stop and start praying. I'm like, Lord, protect me, put a protective hedge around me, so that evil and negativity does not penetrate or touch me. It doesn't touch my children. And I promise you, it works. It works when you speak the promise of God over you, and you have to be willing to remove yourself from those scenarios. It's a process. It is a process, but don't be a prisoner to the process, because you say, well, I'm still trying to figure out how to do it. And then you become a prisoner trying to figure it out, but you never remove yourself from that scenario, and you're not able to say yes to your peace. So that is something I encourage people to do, is to exercise your right to say no to the negativity and say yes to your peace. Let your yeses and your nos support your peace.
Absolutely. And I love what you said. You got to get up and speak over your home. You have to speak over that house, that you bringing that peace in, because sometimes the very people that we sleep with every night may be super negative. The other people that's in your house, and then the people that you've allowed in your house that should have probably never been, and you notice everything is like, what is going on? So we have to speak over our house. We have to speak over ourselves. We have to speak over our children. We have to speak over our situations, the things that we want to see. And that's a part of your spirit, having your spirit right, getting your home right. All of that plays a huge part in your spirit. With that being said,
Mhm.
I'm asking, so as you think about things, are you spiritually reactive or spiritually intentional?
I'm spiritually intentional.
Mm.
So am I.
Now, I react spiritually to things, but not in and there is a difference. Okay. But I got to go back a little bit here. Um, when we're talking about spirituality and we're talking about being aligned, um, there are those people who don't know themselves and that sacrifice themselves by hanging around and being around people who make them feel good, but they don't know how to make themselves feel good.
Mhm.
That's
And
good.
so because people aren't aware and aren't aligned and they don't have sometimes what it takes, their lives continue to spiral. Their lives continue to spiral. And so if a person is in that type of setting, how do we encourage them to look at themselves when they don't have people around them and that they're hanging around or that they're in this little cycle with that can push them forward or push them or help them grow? We spend so much time helping our friends and our this and that, and we put so
Mhm.
much energy into it, but we don't put the same energy into ourselves to grow mentally, psychologically, spiritual, physically. And it's a lot that goes into that. And our satisfaction should not come from other people. Our
Mhm.
satisfaction should come deep within us,
Amen.
our inner self, our spiritual self. And if we're happy with ourselves, then we can be happy with others. And then that's when our intuition, our discernment kick in, and then we know, and that helps us
Mhm.
grow.
Well, a lot of
And
that,
it's work. Oh, sorry.
It
Go ahead,
is.
Matt.
no, I was going to say a lot of that in helping people, you do it almost every day, Tammy. You sending out different things that you've heard in the morning that has woken up your spirit. Now you sending it to that person. That many times will speak more to them than you speaking to them. Because as you send that thing to
Mhm.
them, I feel like a lot of people feel less judged. Like you just like, I just listened to this. This was really good. That way you're not saying, you know what, you
Mhm.
real negative and you know, you need to
Yeah,
maybe change. Now you're speaking to them in a different way. So
right.
sending them something very spiritual, sending a podcast to watch. Oh, I just heard this sermon. Check this out. Now it's up to them to go and do it. And a lot of times they may not say they did it, but then they come back later and be like, oh my God, I listened to that. That was so really good. And I took notes. And that's how people start to move forward. So you can help them a lot by that. Because a lot of times when we're talking to people, they may feel attacked. You know,
Right.
you may not be at that space and place where you're able to accept certain things from certain people. Even though you want to help them, they may not know how to accept the help, but they can accept the video. They can accept a spiritual prayer or something that they could say it to yourself. Hey, I've been praying this prayer every morning. I sure have seen a difference. And they may see the difference in you just by you talking, and now you done sent the prayer, and
Yeah.
they gonna take it up. So I
Right.
think that is one of the ways to really help people. A lot of
Right.
times we don't have to say it; we can send it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of times we can give an example, and a lot of times you walking, people know who we all used to be. Okay, we weren't always here, and so sometimes we have to say nothing. We walk in it, we show it, and people start to be like, "Gosh, well, how did you change? What did you do?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then they start asking you, walk the walk, talk the talk, and that gets people to asking questions sometimes as well. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you asked that, Tammy. That's good.
Mhm.
Wow.
Love it. Love it. Gail, you had something to say.
I wanted to comment because Tammy, that was phenomenal. You know what you said. That is gems and fruit for the soul because we just a lot of people will, and I'll speak about myself. Even in the past, I've distracted myself supporting other people, showing up for other people, encouraging other people, because it was deflection for me, because it took some work and some accountability for me to spend that time with myself. My grandmother used to always say, everybody don't like spending time with themselves because everybody don't like themselves. And she used to
Mm.
say, if you spend time alone with yourself and you can't stand being alone with yourself, it's a problem.
Right. Right.
You can't stand being with yourself. And
Right.
I think about that, in the past, because I would always be pushing other people and, rah, 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 for everybody else, because I had so much baggage that I had been carrying for years. I didn't want to deal with it. It was easiest for me to focus on other people and showing them what they can do for themselves so that they can rise and do certain things and achieve their dreams. And I didn't want to do the work. I knew that when I sat with myself, I wasn't going to like it, because I was
Mm.
going to start seeing and realizing. And once it comes up, once you see it about yourself, the next thing is, now what? When you see a thing about yourself, then it's up to you to make the decision. Am I going to change this? Am I going to do something about this? Or do I want to stay this way? And you ultimately have to make that decision of who you are going to be. Choose your attitude and put that energy, like you said, back into ourselves, so we can be self-aware, so we can be held accountable to make the changes that we need to make to connect with our spiritual selves, because our everything that God put in us is in our spirit. And
Yes.
that's what a lot of people, they don't pay attention to it. They disregard it. They think it's overrated. Oh, you're talking too much about God. You're talking too much about the spirit and things of that nature. But our spirit is what moves us. Our spirit is what talks to us every day, even though we try to ignore it. That thing will keep tapping
And it's
constantly. Your spirit will always be there, and we have to give it the attention and do the work so we can thrive. I don't know if people see themselves thriving. I don't know if people think they deserve to thrive. I don't know if they know what that looks like. I don't know if they believe enough that they can have a different type of life if they make different decisions.
there's so many different facets to spirit, to your spirit. So people need to understand that. But my biggest thing is, what is it to lift up everybody else's spirit, get them in a good space, and now you still
Mm-hmm.
down in the dumps in a low space
Mm-hmm.
and not moving forward? What is that? That's called disrespect. That's disrespecting
Mm-hmm.
yourself, and that's a disrespect to God, because He gave you a purpose. He gave you a spirit. He gave you this thing, and you're doing it to unto everybody else. Be true to thine own self. And so when you choose to reach out and help everybody else and never yourself, that's disrespect. It's not going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to grow you. It's not going to move you forward. So we might not
Mm-hmm.
think of it that way, but it truly is, because you're not moving forward. And so looking good, it ain't nothing cute about looking good. Being looking good on the outside, but jacked up on the inside. We're not going to do that. That's why we're having these conversations, because we need to do something different. And so, with that being said, how often do you check in with yourself emotionally and spiritually? How do you know when to check in with yourself emotionally and spiritually? How often are we doing it?
Well, I'm just gonna tell you, I kind of checked out spiritually for a minute, especially after my divorce. I kind of I had to figure life out. And all decisions I was making was not in line with what God had for me. I lived my life in a godly manner all this time. So sometimes you do fall off, and the stuff that was occurring because I fell off didn't feel good. It's when I woke up and said, "Oh, wait, hold up." It felt better the other way. Let me get back in line with what God has for me and let me stay there.
Yeah.
Because that butt whooping is not nice. I'm gonna tell you, to almost lose your life, to have some other things go on, and let me tell you, ooh, I won't get into it, but
I know it. I know it.
stay in line, align with your higher power and with God. Things are so much easy. It's so much easier because God is not chaotic. God is not toxic. He's easy,
Mm-hmm.
smooth. He talks softly. When you get back in line with that and with him, life is good. But when you fall off, as I found out, that butt whooping. Remember, mom used to get that belt and grandma, daddy. Woo! Let me tell you, I don't want that
Oh, you
again.
got a belt?
No, listen. What God put on me. it's, okay, you get back in line. Get over here where you know you're supposed to be and do
Yeah.
what you're supposed to be doing. You weren't brought up this way. You weren't taught this way. Get it together. And I did. And I don't regret it.
Awesome, awesome. So, how do y'all? Again, I check in with myself every day. It's an app on your phones, probably on the Android and the iPhone, and it asks you, "How was your day? What did you do?" It gives you some, that's checking in with yourself every day, spiritually, emotionally, and you just small things like that. Go in your notes, do something, write something to yourself, and then even on social media, they have I think it's on Facebook where they have where you can put a little quote of the day. And half of the time I'm putting my little quote, I'm talking to Renette. You know what I'm saying? So I could see that during the time. There's so many things that are out there that we can do to check in with ourselves, to check in with our spirit, to make sure that we're getting ourselves right. And so it's tapping into the right things. And when we do that, tap into ourselves emotionally and spiritually. What are you listening to in the morning? What are you listening to
Mm-hmm.
in the daytime? What are you writing down? A lot of times we're hearing it and we hear it, but then it goes away. But as soon as somebody says something negative or nasty, you just keep replaying that and replaying that and replaying that. Why don't we turn that around and replay those things that are going to replenish our spirit, that is going to uplift us, and that circle that we are around? What purpose are they serving? Are they helping move your spirit forward? I know y'all help me, and I just want to be in those types of circles.
Yes.
It's just a circle, because what do they say? If you don't have a circle and you're in a place and space where people mean, messy, and miserable, you in a cage. And I
Yeah.
ain't trying to be nobody cage. I ain't trying to be in nobody circus or monkey show. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
We're gonna shut that down.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with the clown.
Right.
I'm the ringmaster, and I'm gonna shut this stuff down. I can't do it. And sometimes people fail to do that, and they rather sacrifice their spirit,
Right.
spirituality,
Right.
to help their kids, trying to run behind that man, running behind this job, and they're not finding peace anywhere.
Right.
It's so unfair to you. That's so unfair if you have small children. You have to think
Oh,
about
yeah.
what are we doing to the people that are around us, the people that care for us. When we killing our spirit and we doing these things,
Yeah.
sometimes it's when it's bigger than you. That's when it starts to make a difference. And it really is bigger than you. God has called you to do something big. So it's not just about you. So you do got to get
Mm-hmm.
that spirit together so that you can move forward to do the things that you were called to do, to help the people you were called to help. And maybe you weren't called to everybody, but if you were called to one or two people, those one or two people matter. And so if your spirit is not right, how you gonna help them?
But you know, Renette, a lot of people are in survival mode,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
fixing and helping, and um, sometimes it's hard for them.
And I'm not saying for everybody to do it, because if you in that space, when, like, hurt people hurt people.
Right.
If you in that space, you're not able to help people at this time. The best way to help them is to help yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need to be fixing
Mm-hmm.
them if you ain't fixed yourself. You
Right.
need to step back. Now, different
Mm-hmm.
people may be healed in certain areas. Maybe they can help in this area, but not in that area. You just done got you a divorce and you still trying to recover and rebound it. Don't be trying to give advice to everybody. But you need to get yourself together. And that's why when you hear people say sit with yourself, we need to sit with ourselves. Everybody want to be outside.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
we need to go inside. We have to go within.
Inside.
We
Yeah.
have to go within so that we can win. And a lot of people are moving from the outside in. It's what we put on us instead of what we put in us. You ready to buy that Louis Vuitton purse? We're not judging. You ready to buy this and that, but don't want to buy the thing that's gonna help fix you. Don't want to get to the therapist that's gonna make
Right.
this happen so that you can get your spirit right. Get
Well,
your
we do need to do that. We need to detach from those things that deplete our peace and our sense of purpose on this earth, and
Right.
and the walk that we're walking. And I tell you, I told all of you, when Tammy gets quiet, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
When Tammy leaves the room and everybody else is out there, it's a problem. Okay, that's just how I operate. I can't do the chaos. I can't do all these things. I'd rather be calm-minded in calm situations. And I like the fact that we're trying to urge people to do better and to get to know themselves and to take the time. You have to take the time if you're going to be spiritually sound. You have to get by yourself sometime.
Yeah.
absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
Yeah.
absolutely. I have totally, and it's for a purpose, separated myself from the outside world
And you have to do
Mm-hmm.
that. That's the next
purposely.
question.
Yeah.
Purpose.
What role does stillness or solitude play in your life right now? Because even though you might be around a bunch of people, and some people are so scared. I don't like to be alone. They don't want to do nothing alone. They don't
Right.
want to be alone.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
you don't have this solitude or this peace or whatever. I was just talking to somebody. I've been 5 days stuck on a cruise ship. I enjoyed myself. I need some time. And they were married.
What?
They
Yeah.
were married, but they still needed time. So yes,
Yeah.
if you married, if you in a relationship, if you
Yeah.
have kids, everybody deserves time. You need some
Everybody.
solitude. You need some space. You need some stillness. How can you hear noises constantly around you? How do you know what direction to go in? How do you know how to move? But you
Yeah.
always got to be on the scene.
Yeah.
Listen, I totally relate to that because the way that I recoup my energy is solitude, being alone. And Tammy and I were talking about this when I was in Orlando. I was like, my life is, kind of, may seem chaotic with all the traveling and stuff and all the different events. And I love all of that, but I need time to recoup my energy after that, physically, emotionally, mentally, all of that. My life is a
Mm-hmm.
functional hot mess and I love it, and I love everybody that, partakes in the shenanigans, but I have to recoup my energy. And, one of the things that you all were saying earlier about spending time alone. I love myself. I love to be by myself sometimes.
Yes.
I will go out to eat by myself. I will go to the movies by myself. I enjoy me, myself, and I, and a lot of people, I
Mm.
was with the family this weekend and they were like, I don't see how people go to the restaurants by themselves. I will pop up at a restaurant by myself all the time.
Yes.
I enjoy my own company. And sometimes you have to enjoy
Mm-hmm.
your own company to realize if others will enjoy your company. If you don't enjoy being by yourself, how do you expect others to enjoy being around you?
Right. Right.
Good
You
point.
know?
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
being around Latoya though, she doesn't have to say anything. but I know her spirit says right now she's going to relax. If she's going to go in the room, or however she's going to, I've picked up on it. And
Yeah, she
so
did.
I give her that space. I'm not, Latoya, I go outside. Now, Latoya's the one who has to pull me
Yeah,
back into
you
the
go
house.
outside and give me my space, and I'm going out there to look for her. I'm like, what you doing out here?
So
Get out.
that's just it. But that's the beauty of
Yeah,
knowing who you are around,
yeah,
and that you are, and you know how many marriages and relationships and friendships would last and be better if people understood who they were around a lot
yeah,
more. And the circles that I am in now, my circle has shrunk, but
yeah.
it's beautiful. You know, I know how to interact with Renette. I know how to interact with Latoya. I know how to interact with Gail. Okay. And we all get together and the shenanigans happen, but we also know when it's time to bring it down. You got what I'm saying? So knowing your circle is important, and we are able to positively help each other in so many different ways. It's beautiful. And that's what people need.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Tim, that's beautiful. And
yeah.
when thinking about spirit, a lot of times, y'all, people think, I hate when people do this. Your phone ringing. I know.
Yeah.
That don't mean I have to answer it.
Right.
Are they coming in your message box at 2, 3, 4 a.m.? That's time you woke up to do. And some people feel so obligated, like I gotta talk to them right now.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk to them right now. They can wait. Give yourself the time you need. You need to talk to yourself. Talk to you. It's some things you need to encourage yourself about. You don't have to answer that email right then. Then they go with the question mark. Okay, and these are things that can tear your spirit down because it's not allowing you that time for you.
Right.
When you wake up, I also have like a bedtime routine. When I go to bed, and I think I talked about that last week, I don't just go to bed and go to sleep. I kind of wind down. I need to talk to God. I need to do certain things, even to the fact that maybe how I'm working with my skin or doing all of that is a routine. And I might need to get this spiritual bath. I might need the soap. And so my phone, no, it's okay to have your phone set to be silenced at 9 o'clock if you don't want to speak past 9 o'clock. It's okay to not respond to, that message right away. And sometimes you respond so quick, you might say the wrong thing. Yeah. And then you're like, dang, I don't know why I said yes. Dang, I don't know why I answered her. Because now
I don't have that problem.
I don't have a problem with it because y'all already know my do not disturb. If you don't know, my do not disturb
now you know
every night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time until 7 a.m. the next morning. So a lot of people say, well, I hope my message didn't disturb you. Nope, I didn't even see it because it's on do not disturb. Right. Because I have that night routine like Renette does. My day is busy and I need to, wind down for the evening, and I don't want to be distracted with notifications, messages that I really don't have to respond to tonight. So I shut that stuff down. For me, I have to have that quiet time and decompress from the day, and at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is. If it's important, then I may see it and respond to it. If not, then it can just wait till the next day.
Yeah. Real quickly on that, Latoya.
Yes.
I can't turn my phone off. I want to, but because of something that happened in my life, I'm always ready to respond if a friend or family member needs me. So, but my daughter is the one who said to me, Mom, there's really nothing you can do. And she silences her phone at night. And I'm like, well, what if I need her?
The great thing about the do not disturb, there's favorites. You can have, I want to say like 9 or 10 favorites. Right. So you can put favorites in there, like your children, your parents, whoever, and those people can get through. But anybody else?
And it's settings. After the second call, and
I
stuff.
can
Okay.
help you set it up, sis, next week if you want to.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
I mean,
Right,
so
right.
there's some perimeters around that. So the people that are important, you can put them as favorites, and their messages will get through, so you're not missing any
They'll
important
get
messages.
through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
'cause
We need to
We
work
have
on that.
to
yeah,
I
I got you,
text
girl.
we
people
have
at
to
2, 3, 4 in the morning.
prioritize. Mm-hmm. Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Nat.
And I mean, I think to myself, well, they'll get it when they get it. I don't mean that they have to answer me then, but they're
Right.
going to
Mm-hmm.
get it because that's when I'm up. I don't answer my text right away a lot of times because I'm busy. But when I used to be at homecoming with my friends and I didn't have my phone on silent, it was dinging and ringing, and my children will call me at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And they was like, girl, I ain't getting no sleep because of you. Why don't you? And they was so sick of my phone and me, my friends. And
Mhm.
we do this
Mhm.
homecoming thing in South Carolina State every year. But now, because I've silenced my phone, it's changed my life. Well, I can finally get some rest. And when I really want to get some rest, I'll leave the phone downstairs. And it's okay.
It's okay. Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is truly,
Turn it face down.
truly
I turn my
okay.
phone
Something
face
I've got to work on. See?
Yes.
turn
Yeah.
it down because that
Baby
light
steps, Tammy. Baby steps.
is flashing.
Yes.
So when you turn your phone face down, that's helpful as well. But when you got 5 or 6 phones like Tammy,
Girl. My sis, she doing better, y'all. She doing better. She done got rid of some
Well,
of
she
them.
down to 3, ain't she? About what, down to 2 or 3
I
right
think she's
now?
down to
So
4.
she working on it. She
She's
down to
4
2.
now. She's about down to
Progress. We take the progress.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but I will say, to that respect is, I have adopted that every request does not need to be responded to.
Amen.
And the fact that I set the boundary for myself, and honey, voicemail, whether it work or not, baby, it's a beautiful thing because I'm not going to answer my phone, and I will not be coerced or manipulated to be doing what people think I should be doing with my time. Nobody can account for my time, and we cannot allow people to pull us in the directions that they need us to be in. We have to be present for ourselves. We have
Mhm.
so many things that we deal with on a daily basis. We have to be present for ourselves. People are going to always want us for something. And I say this even in my corporate space. Your emergency is not my emergency.
That
The
part.
things that you feel you're entitled to my time, space, and my energy may not necessarily be the truth. So you may reach out to me. I may be busy or I may not. I may just be, like Toya said, spending time with myself because, baby, I'm damn good company.
Yes.
And I love spending time with me. And I
Yes.
love that I acknowledge the time and space that I need for myself. So just because, we need to get out of the habit, like Renette said it immediately, as soon as the phone thing, we trying to, okay.
That's
No,
not
it's
me.
not Johnny on
Me either.
not Johnny on the spot.
Not in,
I'll get to
yeah.
you
Not
when
unless
I
it's you
get
or
to
my
you. If
kid. That's it.
it's not my children, if it's
I'm,
not my kids,
Hmm.
I'm
I'm
not
calling
answering
your
it. If it's
phone.
not,
You
if
ain't
it's not these
My inner
spaces,
circle can
I'm
call
not,
me.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I don't have
Exactly.
to
We
talk
have
to
to
you
set
on the phone.
boundaries for that.
Yeah.
We do.
What? Did,
Don't
I
don't
don't
be
have
afraid to
to
not answer
talk
that phone
did
because I
did
promise
I
you
hear
that
that?
when
Did
you
I hear
answer
her
it,
right?
You heard her
you'll
right.
watch it
Yes,
what
you
you
did.
do.
somebody come out the bathroom scooting. They comes up, they're getting their phone. It ain't that serious.
It's
I'm
not.
not gonna talk. If I don't have to talk to you on the toilet. I don't. That's not what I have to do. I don't have to talk
And
to you
you
on
and
the toilet.
Well,
people change your energy. You rush to answer the phone, you rush to read the text or to listen to the message, and then there's some funky mess, some negativity that completely changes the energy that you set for yourself. So don't set yourself up for that. You get you get to it when you get to it, but honor your boundaries. Honor the time that you spend with yourself. Baby, this is my phone and I choose to answer it or not.
right.
Yeah.
Period.
And I'm gonna
I,
tell you
I can't.
something.
every request does not get responded to. That's just what it
Absolutely.
is.
And this podcast, because we take it so seriously, this is a sacred space for me. This is a part of my spirit. And I swear, I tell people, don't call me on Thursday nights after 7. I got something to do.
Dude.
Right.
And now every
Right.
Thursday night, I promise I get all kind of texts. Call me, please. I need to speak to you. I'm calling you. You ain't answering the phone. No.
Yeah.
But you remember that church night. But they ain't gonna remember our podcast night.
Right.
We gotta do
Come
better.
on, somebody.
Okay. So this is our sacred space.
I don't
Yes.
have those issues. My people are respectful, so I appreciate that.
Good.
And
My people think they being respectful, they forgetful, but still, that's fine that they forgetful, but don't send me nothing because I called you, but you ain't called me back, or I called you, please call me back ASAP, and don't keep calling.
ooh,
Because obviously I'm not talking. I don't said that over and over. And it's still that way. On Thursday nights after 7 o'clock, I'm busy.
wow. Well, this
Don't
has been
expect no
very
explanation
interesting,
from
man.
me about why I didn't answer my phone. Some people expect a full-blown explanation.
Mhm.
I don't do that. What can I help you with? I'm not being interrogated about why I wasn't available. I'm not doing that. You best be glad I called your ass back. Okay? So how can I help you? I'm not answering questions about what was I doing, where I was at. I'm not doing none of that.
The
How
funny
can I
one
help?
for me,
I like
Gail.
your space and
What
place,
is
Gail.
Yeah. The funny one for me is they'll call, then they'll
baby?
send a text. I called you. I'm like, I saw it. Now what? I saw it.
Right. Oh, and don't let your scheduled post on social media. Oh, here they come back.
Exactly.
Oh, I got her
You was
now.
on Facebook, but you ain't answer
You
my
on social media,
This is my phone. I respond when I want to.
baby.
Yeah.
We grown over here.
That
I
part.
choose to do what I want to do or not. I may choose to do you or not. It's my choice.
And these are
I
things
might
that
do
can
you,
kill the spirit.
might not.
When you explaining away and then they looking at you like you lying. And no, protect your spirit. Protecting your spirit is protecting your space. That's protecting your peace.
Yeah.
That's protecting your time.
Spiritual protection.
Everything that you got going on, it has to be protected. And your spirit is something that's so important. It's way more than just this thing about yourself. It's more than yourself. It's bigger than you, because when you don't protect your spirit and the thing that God has assigned you with, the thing that God has gifted you with, the thing that He's given to you, you causing other people to lose out as well, because that one gift that you're protecting, that spirit that you're holding on to, that peace, that's gonna help somebody else get a break.
Amen.
Than you.
Absolutely.
So we have to think about, as we kill our own spirits, you killing somebody else's dream. You killing somebody else's destiny, because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So we have to get our spirits in alignment and in check. Check yourself or you wreck yourself. That's what they used to say back in the day.
Yeah.
And so we got to make sure that we are checking our spirit. I don't care about you cute on the outside, because you can't put on enough makeup on the outside to keep inside negativity that you got going on. That stink.
Speak.
I didn't say stink. I said stank. Mean, miserable spirit. We not
Interesting conversation.
No mascara for your soul, baby.
And that's one thing that
and you know what? Please know that we're not sitting around hoping, wishing, and praying somebody call us. We really have things to do. We have schedules. We have agendas. We have clients. We have things to do. We have families. I promise you, we are not sitting around hoping that somebody call us. I promise you, we have things to do, and the things that we do, we're doing it for other people. We get to do something that we
Right.
love, but we also have responsibilities, and we're doing
Responsibilities
things.
out
We're trying to
there.
bring things to fruition for the spicy community, for our clients, for our family, for ourselves.
Well,
So we have things going on, and we have to catch up with each other. We on here now. When we get on here, we got to be reminded that we got an agenda and things to do, because we so quick to try to catch up with each other,
Yes.
because life is happening, and we're using our tools to life back, and we're not sitting by the phone. Okay,
Absolutely.
we're not
And we
sitting by the
need to
phone.
be, in reference to our spirit as we end, we need to be focused. We need to be faith filled and intentional as we move forward to have our spirit in the right place. So when
Mm-hmm.
we stay focused, that's how we move forward, and we keep our spirits in check. And
yes.
that's very important. So we align those intentions with those
Mhm.
spirits, and we walk in the faith. We
Right.
walk in the focus. Then we'll be able to continue to move in wisdom,
Right.
and those things can happen for us. But when your spirit is out of whack, out of line, out of place, out of space, we can't grow that way.
Exactly.
And so this is very important that we understand our spirits must be aligned. We
Aligned.
all are here for a purpose and a reason. And so we are talking about those spirits because it is our job to get in alignment for our God-given assignment so that we can move forward to the space and place where we are supposed to be. And if you're not living in purpose and on purpose, and your ish is not together, then it ain't gonna work out too pretty for you. I ain't trying to be funny. I'm trying to keep it the real. Okay? We're not about to play no games with you. I don't believe in games. I believe in doing what we're supposed to do. Not supposed, but supposed to do. Okay? So we gotta
Amen.
get that thing together. It's time to get your ish together. And so
Yes.
we're ready to end, but we do have some things coming up that are super exciting. We have fedoras and fire. Ooh,
June 1st.
okay. Be there or be basic. Y'all, we need to get there. If you in Orlando, get there. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. These ladies ain't got no act right. I don't know what they got going on. And I'm just saying. But yeah, we got some things coming up. We getting ready to do Woo on the 7th of
Yes.
June. And then we have Las
Vegas.
on the 24th. We're podcasting.
Right.
And then we'll be in Orlando at the gala on the
Yes.
26th with Marie.
July 26th.
July 26th, yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot going on.
Yeah, we have a lot going on.
Yes.
August is picking up,
Yes.
you know, and then it's a lot, you know, and we don't want you all to miss opportunities to just come out and have a spicy experience with us. Please go to our events page and go to events.spicyseasonsisterspodcast.com and see where you could get in, where you fit in, and catch us live at one of these events. We would love to connect and meet you and see you. So come out and prepare to have a spicy experience.
Yes.
And follow on all social media sites. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Follow us there, and share it out with friends, because this is not about the four of us. This is a whole movement.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yes,
we are better together than apart, because at this big age here, I never knew I was gonna go through so much stuff. I thought I was supposed to be easy breezy, baby. It ain't none of that. You know what I'm saying? But we're moving towards it because we're doing the work. And so as we go through the experiences, it's getting easier and breezier.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're growing. Every day we learning lessons that are turning into blessings. So
Yeah.
when you join this spicy squad and you connect to something great, it's only gonna make you greater. And
Yes.
you, as you do that, you'll start to see things happen beautifully, like we are.
Make it happen beautiful.
We'll see y'all later. Have an amazing
We're
evening.
out. Love you. Good night.
Good night.
Love you, Spicy Squad.